Yahoro minasan. This is Yuki, your realist Himederation View Elf, and today I'm going to share with you my wisdom regarding Spring Anime 2024 for Shounen, Seinen, Fantasy, and also some slice of life. So please feel free to comment on them and to give other recommendations if you think I'm missing anything in particular. And let's start. So my criteria for the list today is going to be from what I think is gonna rank the best this season to the ones that I think, although they are good, they might not get as much popularity as they deserve to. And of course, again, it's a matter of taste, so I'm not judging anybody for liking this one or the others. I like them all. As far as you know, I'm gonna be watching all of these. So the first one that I talk about is Windbreaker. And Windbreaker, the anime, is based on a manga. It's not based on the popular Korean webtoon that everybody knows about. And as you notice, the character drawing is different, the art style is different, the story is sort of different, I think. I don't know the main story of the Korean Windbreaker, and also the Korean Windbreaker webtoon, the name is sort of attached, but this one, the name is detached. So these are the major differences, I would say, just to avoid the confusions. And to begin with, Windbreaker, I would say the easiest way to compare it is to Tokyo Revenger. I didn't watch Tokyo Revenger for a very simple reason. I didn't like the main lead. The main lead for me looked like a wimp, and he didn't have a backbone, and some people loved him in the end. It's a bit like ReZero. Either you love it or you hate it. There is no in-between opinions. But I loved Windbreaker for a very clear reason, because the MC Sakura Haruka, yeah, you heard that right, his name is Sakura Haruka, literally girl's name, but so dope and so badass. Fighting scenes and animation fighting scenes, it's so amazing. It literally reminds me of God of High School, if you had watched God of High School. It's like you get so excited. It's been a while for me since I watched a fight anime where I get really excited about these beating, bloody scenes. And also it feels like a promising story. I'm most likely looking forward to knowing further about each single character there, and to all the character development that's gonna happen to each one of them. Starting, of course, from Sakura Haruka. Hope that you enjoy it. If you have any critics, just feel free to comment them and I'll respond back. The next show that I think is gonna be like really viral this season is Viral Hit. And Viral Hit is the name of the webtoon, which again was translated to Japanese, and because of the, like all the Japanese studio animation kind of rules and regulations, the main voice acting was in Japanese, which I appreciate. I really love the main voice acting, but I would say since a lot of people already read the webtoon in Korean, I would have loved to see like a well-developed professional Korean voice acting one day maybe. So Viral Hit has been done by the same webtoon writer as Lookism, and if you have been familiar with Lookism, you should also know that bullying is a very main theme. Lookism is revolving around the idea that people are going to be discriminated against based on their looks, and their looks alone, and only looks matter for you, to have a social life and for you to evolve and to gain power to do many things, which is basically the case in Korea and the case many places around the world. But Viral Hit, it's more like how to expose bullies and how to gain money, and he's somehow amazed and fascinated by the idea that people can earn suddenly a lot of money from just putting themselves out online, which is what we all feel currently when we look at influencers. At first I was like a bit annoyed and a bit disgusted by the level of bullying and the violence that was going on in the first episode, but as far as I heard from some spoilers, the attention is gonna shift from the topic to other issue areas, so I'm looking forward to that. I think I started seeing how it's going a bit in the second episode, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how things are gonna evolve and all the characters that they are going to appear later on. My third anime on this list is Konosuba Season 3. And I think many of you already have an idea about Konosuba or have already watched Konosuba Season 1, Season 2. But in case you didn't, I can summarize it a little bit. It's a comedy, parody anime for all the isekai that have been created in the world. But Kazuma, first of all, he died in a very funny way, in a very humiliating, shameful way. He didn't get killed, he didn't die naturally, he didn't get reversed by Trakkun or anything. He got a heart attack from being scared of a tractor because he thought it's a big car. His first point. So he died because of fear, not because of him. And then, when he was in front of the goddess of the world in order to make a choice about what kind of power he wants, instead of picking money or some sort of superpower or flying or reading minds or whatever it is the heck he wants, he was trying to play it smart and cool, and he thought if I pick the goddess then she must be literally the strongest being in the world, so she should be able to grant me anything. But he didn't know that Aqua is literally so freaking useless. The only thing she can do with her power is create fountains of water from her hands. And that's it. Really small, decorative fountains. You cannot even drink that. Just a small note on Season 3. So if you have watched Season 1 and Season 2, you realize Season 1 they're gonna focus on Aqua, and somehow all the gang, how they came together. Season 2 they're gonna focus mostly on La Latina and on Megumin, like their backstories and why they have the powers that they have and what does being with that group mean to them and many other things. And Season 3, funny speaking, started with Kazuma, with the focus on Kazuma, how he himself romanticizing his own experiences. Like he started genuinely believing that he's really popular and he has a chance, and the girls around him, although they look really useless and really annoying, they might be actually deep down like potential love interests. So, and again, as much unfortunate as he is, he also fell in another trap by another crazy aristocrat. So I'll leave that up to you, and I hope you enjoy Season 3 with me too. The next show I think would be really popular this season is Mysterious Disappearance. And for a very simple reason is because first of all it's a seinen, second it's ecchi, tend to be really well loved by me. But for me that's not definitely the only reason why I'm sticking to it. There is an onesan that is a shota, and you cannot give me more reason not to watch it. But let's say the official main reason why I'm gonna keep watching it is because the plot is so interesting. And I really love stories about Ayaka, sort of like legends, things related to the supernatural. I think they are super cool and they are really core part of Japanese folklore, superstitions and mentality. So I would be always intrigued by shows that bring in new stories and new perspectives. And I think Mysterious Disappearances actually provide that. So we have our protagonist, Sumiko Ogawa, who's a bookstore clerk who wants to one day to become a novelist after some writing success in her youth. So she would team up with her co-worker Ren Adashino, and with their combined knowledge and skills of occultic, they will try to investigate some strange incidents. And then we are wondering what kind of truth they will reach, or more, what kind of things they shouldn't have unearthed. It's chilling in another world, level 2, with super cheat powers. His name is called Banaza. He's a regular merchant, a racist world where humans were not treating demi-humans and ogres and other creatures equally, but it isn't really very much different from the fantasy world. But he gets isekai'd to another world which might be either a few years after or a few years before his own time. But the main difference is that the humans in this era are not discriminating against the monsters. They are working with them, they are employing them, they are talking to them on equal footing. And for somebody who was never a racist himself, that feels like a heaven, and he's really happy that the monsters and the other creatures are being treated so humanly and so equally. If you watch Tatsunuyusha or the Shield Hero Season 1, then you will most likely like chilling in another world, level 2, with super shit powers. And the reason I'm mentioning Motoyuusha Season 1 is because Season 2 and 3 they don't exist. Don't know about them, they never happened, and I don't remember they ever exist. Yeah, so this is our consent. So you have the same setting, basically he gets invoked to this world as a hero, his power is almost non-existent according to the mages there, and there is this blonde arrogant guy again who gets put as the head of the cavalry or whatever and given all these weapons and money and women. And without any spoilers, he eventually realizes he have a bunch of skills that he doesn't understand. At first he thinks that they are skills for weak level people because he doesn't understand which skills are actually for weak or for high level people in this world. Also the Fenrir waifu, she's super cutesy. Maybe I'm cringing a bit at the opening. Or maybe you will love her, maybe you will just cosplay her, or maybe you will wish you have somebody like her in your life, so no judgment. So for Kaijuu number 8, I actually got this recommendation through a friend whom I met years ago in the community, but I have to say that I'm not that much into it yet. I mean, I watched the first episode. I think it is promising. It has a chance, but it might go either way. It might go like really bang, something so damn cool, or it might turn into something really classic and really boring and annoying. So I'm planning to give it a chance for a few more episodes, maybe like 3-4 episodes, and see how it's gonna turn out and what's gonna come out of it. Honestly, the male lead strangely reminds me of the main character design from My Annoying Senpai, which is kind of funny. I keep thinking about that same guy there. The setting reminds me about Fire Force. The story plot reminds me of datta. So the reason why I started this particular anime was very funny. It's simply because I saw Loli, who looks like an idol but wearing Japanese style dress, and I was a bit curious. Also the name is called the Salad Bowl of Eccentrics. First of all, what kept me watching is the funny accent of the girl there. So this is a reverse isekai. The main character is not going from her world to, you know, like feudal Japan or to adventure or medieval times or to the space. No, actually she came from medieval Japan to the modern Japan. So this is technically a reverse isekai. So this really idolish like small girl, she's called Sarah. She is actually the princess of a royal family, and while she was fighting like a rebellion, her and her knight escaped through a mysterious gate to the modern Japan world, and they don't know anything about modern Japan. And then accidentally, while she was roaming around, she meets this really run down detective. He's an extremely poor detective. Nothing is going well for him. He's not even earning enough to eat well. But he sort of feels bad, you know, for a really young girl and decides to take her in. So this plot probably reminds you of Higehiro. But unlike Higehiro, which is more like a slice of life, psychological type of anime, this one is more like slice of life, fantasy, comedy aspect of it. So it's very fluffy, there is no itchy moments. So if you have been following anime for a while, you must have heard about the remake of Spice and Wolf. And I personally didn't watch the 2008 for a very simple reason, because I didn't like the animation and because I wasn't as much comfortable with the nudity back then as now. Now I didn't say now I'm okay with it, but I would say that I learned to just let it go and just focus more on the main plot. So as long as the plot is worth it, as long as they move on past that, you know, like frugal fan service, and they give more screen time for the characters as who they are and what's going on and everything, then I sort of don't get stuck on it as much. I think because I've had that bad impression years ago, and because I didn't like as much the animation, I didn't give it like a fair chance. However, I'm really considering keeping up with the remake. I watched the first episode and it's really good, honestly. It sounds fun, and I heard a lot of positive feedback about it, of how it's related to farming, to economics and politics, and how there is a lot of, you know, like meaningful things to learn from it. So I really think it's quite interesting. Just to give you a quick summary of the show, it's revolving around Holo, which is a powerful wolf deity who is known for the blessing of the annual harvest. Yet, as many years go by and the villagers become more self-sufficient, they had reduced Holo to a mere folklore. When traveling merchant named Craft Lawrence stops at the settlement, Holo offers to become his business partner if he takes her to the northern home of Yoitsu. The savvy trader recognizes Holo's unusual ability and accepts her proposition. The one before the last one on my list for today for Slice of Life Spring 2024 anime that are most likely going to get the most popularity is Bartender. And Bartender apparently had a live action years ago. However, what happened was that live action was a Japanese live action, low quality production, probably very few people knew about it. And so you can assume that most people only heard about Bartender from the animation that came out this year now, including myself. Hidden in the back street of Ginza Street is a place called Eden Hall, a lone bar operated by Ryusa Sakura, the prodigy bartender who is said to mix the most incredible cocktails anyone has ever tasted. Customers of varying backgrounds, each plagued with their own troubles, wander into this bar. Ryu always knows the ideal cocktail to console and guide each soul. Although I criticized it a bit, Kaijuu No.8 earlier for having this kind of 90s anime vibes in the beginning of especially episode 1, I think I really appreciated the 90s vibe in Astro Lodge. And I know I'm being contradictory here, but the point here is that depending on the coloring, depending on the angles, depending on which aspects of the 90s, early 2000s animation that you take on, sometimes it either evokes a sense of nostalgia or either it makes you think they could have done better. These are the only two emotions I can usually think of. And in the case of Astro Lodge, I think they have done a really nice job at bringing out this really classical beauty type of characters portrayed in Mira, who's our main girl here, and she's the caretaker of the Astro Lodge. And the story, actually, the main character of the story is not necessarily Mira herself, but more like Takumi. And Takumi is a gifted chef who was just let go very recently from his job, and he lands a small gig at the old boarding house called Astro So, or Astro Lodge. But he hesitates to accept after learning that he must also live there full time. That is until he meets the beautiful and charming caretaker Mira, and he's all in. Like, his opinion totally changed 180 degrees. You will realize that while watching the first episode that Takumi might be the most normie, typical guy there, but everyone else is definitely abnormal. Is definitely kind of quirky, I would say. Starting from the old man who you know nothing about, to the unemployed guy who all the time wearing a suit and at the breakfast time, although he just wear a suit, eat a breakfast and then go back to his room. And then you have this girl who's, I don't know what's her job exactly, but she basically sometimes transforms into an idol and she forces everyone in the lodge to be her audience. And then you have the small boy here who's like elementary school child who's fairly smart, I would say. And Mira and her supposed to be dog are actually people not even from Earth. So if she's not from Earth, what she's doing here, then what is she looking into actually? So that's it. Thank you